I think at this point, Heinzie, we just need to update the intro to say every week.
Yeah, I think it's getting to that point, Cubs, isn't it? It really is. It's been way too common. But hey, to be fair, you couldn't move, your bikini wax appointment. That's not my fault, mate. That's not my fault.
Listen,
I'm just
it's
saying.
summer here in Arizona. I need to make sure that I'm looking nice and pristine.
Hello, fam. How are you, Cubs? Good to be back, man, on Tuesday. It's good to be back at all this week. Huge week coming up, actually, for me, mate. It's going to be huge.
Hey,
We've actually got Crumb coming on the stream on Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
what is he talking about?
Don't know yet. It's going to be a bit of a baptism of fire. He's obviously been on leave for quite some time, so there's going to be a lot to cover. Looking forward to that one. So pretty massive, yeah. It's going to be a lot of. I will
try. I would tune in, but I'm going to be at a family reunion on Friday, which reminds me, fam, next week Rogue Actions is going to be late. We'll actually probably have to do it on Wednesday next week because I fly in back from my family reunion on Tuesday. So.
Yeah, no, that's right. Baller's life. It's all good. It happens. Got to work around it.
For sure. All right, here's our mini moment of the week. We're going to get right into the show. So this is this guy's opponent's real life Datacron collection for GAC. He can't even fit it in a single photo. So here's Ray. You're a monster.
Is that all he's got?
Is that not that much?
Oh, I've got a few more.
Okay.
A few more. Yeah, yeah, I'm going all right. Yeah, I'm going all right.
Well, then you are the monster, Heinzie.
Well, that's obvious. I'm Australian. But no, I mean that, I went really hard on Conquest. The last Conquest, I'd already had the third last crate was enough for me to unlock Malgus.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go the red crate option. So I could use a lot of that energy and a lot of those refreshes that I would use to get the red crate and pumped it into the Datacron nodes instead. So that certainly has helped me a lot.
I have a Datacron secret to share with all of you guys. If you do not like Datacrons, you are going to want to stay tuned to the end of this video because I have a secret that you will definitely want to stay for. But in the meantime, we have got Jabba the Hutt coming to the game, and we have 5 requirements that we have seen so far for this. Obviously, we've got Chrysanthemum, Han Solo, Gamorrean Guard Greedo, and the Outrider. And Heinzie and I today, we have put together, we're making some predictions today on what characters we think we're going to see. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently than normal. I'm not just going to make my straight predictions. We're going to talk about a lot of characters that we think are likely to show up instead of making it, because we're always wrong, right?
Yeah, I'm going to have 1 or 2 Smokies. With Marquise coming up as well. So, some out of the box, unconventional thoughts.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, Heinzie, we're going to divide this into a couple categories here. I think the first place everybody needs to take a very hard look at is their Hutt cartel. And I would predict that maybe all of these characters, where's H in the alphabet, Heinzie? I'm struggling finding that letter. There we go. I would say there's a good chance that every single one of these characters ends up being required. My hesitation is Boba Fett was obviously needed for the Executor, and so if they did require him, they probably would have him be a Relic 9 requirement, which I know everyone would be very grumpy about. Embo was required for Lord Vader. Cad Bane was required for JMK. Yes. But other than that, I think you can take to the bank Mob Enforcer almost for sure out of all this. I do think that we'll probably require all of them, but if I'm going to put my money on a single character that will be required, it would probably be Mob Enforcer.
Mob Enforcer is definite for 2 reasons. Number 1, not many people have it unlocked, especially relicked. So that is a win for CG. People need to farm it. They need to get it up. And I think, obviously, I believe there'll be a couple of things, and we'll talk about it a little bit in my video as well, but I think there's going to be a couple of reworks coming for a few characters. But, mate, there's another little guy there. Down the bottom, my boy, the Piggy. The Piggy, I saw it. You mentioned it when the requirements came out, mate. My boy Piggy is getting ready to rumble. He's up and about. I've got him at Relic 8, I think, at the moment. I am loving my boy Piggy in there, ready to rock. Ready to go. Let's go, baby.
You're a little too good at that sound effect. I'm impressed and also a little bit surprised. Give the Piggy all the crap you want. This dude clearly doesn't skip leg day. I mean, look at the quad muscles there. he's doing his squats. That's all I want to say about the piggy.
There's a lot of stairs at Jabba's palace, mate.
True.
He does some work, does some stair work.
He gets his stair work in. So, okay, tell us what you guys think about the Hutt cartel being involved in this. Now, the next group of people I want to talk about, Heinze, are basically the characters that were on the barge with Jabba the Hutt. And I think a lot of those characters are possible, but I'm not convinced any of them will be required, Heinze. I'll tell you why. So the 5 characters that are the most likely barge-like characters, we got Leia, Jedi Knight Luke, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Lando, right?
Yes.
All 5 of them have been required already. Now, I do think that they can double dip. They will double dip. But to double dip 5 characters, I think is unlikely. So if they take characters off the barge, I think it'd maybe be 1 or 2 characters, or they'd require them at high relics. So Leia, obviously, she was required for JML. Luke was JML. C-3PO was JML. R2-D2 was JML. Lando was JKL. And so basically all of them, if you have JML, you have all of them in at least Relic 5 already. And almost everybody's going to have JML.
Yeah. And look, that would just increase the relics. I mean, they've already started bringing Relic 9s in for Radis. I mean, Relic 9s are going to be a requirement for some of these guys. Like it or hate it, that's going to happen. So that they will just go, you know what? We need to fill a requirement. We're going to make it reasonable to law. I think that we're definitely going to see someone say, you know, Lando, who's maybe sort of Relic 4, Relic 5, or Relic 5, of course, for requirements. He'll be Relic 8 or Relic 9. They'll squeeze a little bit out of him if they're going to make it a requirement. Absolutely, they will. Because that just makes a lot of sense. There's 2 people that I think we might get that were also on the barge that aren't actually in there at the moment.
I missed a couple.
Well, not so much missed a couple. It's just they're not in game yet.
Okay. Bosch Leia.
No.
Slave Leia.
Bib Fortuna.
Oh, Bib.
Okay. Our boy Bib, I think he'll be very similar to Newt. I think he'll have that extortion type thing going on, right? I think we might see a bit of Bib Fortuna. And if I want to be a real silly boy, which I am because I'm Australian, if you're ever going to bring in the Gonk droid, now's the time. Let's be honest. Let's get it up and running. Gonk droid time, baby. Let's do that straight up and make that Relic 9. And then you just, you pick up everything because everyone's going to go get the Gonk droid, right? Everyone.
Dude. Gonk Droid is an amazing sleeper pick. If they added Gonk Droid into this game right now, just take my freaking money. That also segues very well into the next category characters. So first category, Hutt Cartel. Good chance we see all of those. Characters that were on the barge. And then CG actually mentioned right here that there are several marquee characters that directly support the new faction tag. The Hutt Cartel is what they're referring to there. That will be released. So several probably means somewhere between 3 and 5 marquee characters, maybe 4 additional characters on top of Black Chrysanthemum. I think are likely to be coming. All of them will be Hutt Cartel related. And if they do that, I would say also very likely that those 4 characters, 3, 4, 5, however many, would also be needed for Jabba the Hutt as well. Probably at lower relics because they are new marquee characters. That'd probably be a Relic 5 requirement for those. We're not necessarily going to do a ton of speculation on what those characters are going to be because, spoiler alert, I'm actually bringing Star Wars Explained on the channel here later today, and we're going to talk all about who we think those marquee characters are going to be. We're going to bring in an absolute, utter lore nerd to talk about that one. But Heinze, I have to ask you, pick your brain at least before we move on. We won't spend a ton of time on it, but who else do you think some of those marquee characters could be, and why do you think it's Slave Leia?
I think, well, Slave Leia would be amazing. We're never going to see Slave Leia, but bring that yesterday.
Why not? She's canon.
Take my money now. Take my money now. Like, seriously, it is, if CG are ever looking for any reason to seriously dip into our pockets, reach in deep, grab those big dollar bills, y'all, you just bring Slave Leia to the game. It's that damn simple. Straight up. It's money for jam. Although they already have a character in-game built in there that is an NPC at the moment, Cartel Bruiser. There's no reason why we won't get someone like Cartel Bruiser. That could work quite well.
Okay.
There's another option, and that could be a bit of a damage dealer under GL Jabba. So that could be something, again, only speculation, not 100% sure. There's certainly some options there. Always subject to change, baby. Don't you worry about that. But they're probably my thoughts anyway, just off the cuff.
Okay. All right, and then finally, we got some sleeper picks. These are characters that don't necessarily tie to any of the other categories, and maybe we could see them CG always seems to throw somebody random in there that you're just like, oh, wow, like, what the what? Things like that. So here's some of my thoughts, and then Heinze, I'll get yours. I think there's a good chance we could see Jawas or Tuskens thrown in there somewhere.
Yep.
The Tatooine connections, I think that could work. Fennec Shand or a Sing, maybe young Han and young Lando. Obviously, Han and Lando have had a lot of connection to Jabba throughout the years. I think the young Han and Lando maybe not so much, but because they're a lot less touched in the game, I could see them maybe going that direction. And then there's Savage Opress and Maul, who ruined a party for Jabba once upon a time. Maybe that could have some kind of connection. So those are my random sleeper picks. I have no idea if any of those will or won't be required. Heinze, do you have any you want to add?
I said it again, man. Gonk droid. Just gonk droid. Done. Gonk droid. Enough said. I mean, if you're ever going to do it, now's the time, man. Like, seriously, if you're ever going to do it.
What about the droid who's torturing the gonk droid, though? Who's like pulling the lever, that thin droid?
Yeah, we could do that. But no. Everyone wants gonk droid. And he can just be a power pack. I mean, he could just be a power pack and he could just buff everybody. And I mean, there's no reason why not bring in Gonk. We got Sorty, a character that's not even in Star Wars lore. It's just, hey, we brought that into SWTOR, the Old Republic, chuck that in the game. There's no, they're good at throwing these support character style droids in there. The precedent is set, my friend. It's already there. Just
precedent?
Yeah, precedent, potato.
What is a precedent?
Precedent. I mean, there's history there of bringing that type of character in, mate. That's simple.
All right, guys. I am now going to share with you some Cubs fan Han secrets. If you hate Datacrons, you're not alone. Look at my Datacrons, Heinze, and all of you tryhards out there, you can hate on my inventory all you want. I hate Datacrons. I'm proud about my hate of Datacrons, and I refuse to engage fully with this crappy game mode. And let me tell you what has happened for me, Heinze. As I have done this, yes, I lost a few GACs, but I have been filtered into a bracket of people, Heinze, who also hate Datacrons. My last round of GAC, I saw one Datacron that was placed on a squad. It was only a level 7. I still have yet to see a level 9. So, if you hate Datacrons and you're willing to sacrifice your pride just a little bit and accept that you're going to lose a little bit more than maybe you're used to, you can still enjoy GAC sans Datacrons as well.
There is another way, Cubs, as well. Another little super secret.
What's the other way?
Well, the other way is that you can actually reach out to your opponent in-game and have a gentleman's agreement to knock Datacrons on defense. And we actually did exactly that a couple of rounds ago. We went up against our boy, of course, Cyrus Unseen, of course. And I went up against him. We both made a gentleman's agreement because we hate fleets so much, not to set either fleets on defense. 0 fleets on defense, both sides. And that was so much fun.
But you still use Datacrons?
We did. We still use Datacrons because we both had a reasonable level of Datacrons anyway. But we decided that ships are just so bloody annoying. Let's just not do them. And he said, I like that idea. I'm down. Let's go. And it all came down to your character zones and your efficiency. And it was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it. Just changed it up a bit. So, guys, there's always that option. And I mean, you're always going to get some clown that, does the wrong thing, of course. But if you want to change
that idea, it's fun. And here's the thing: you hate them enough. All right, so you run into a person who's going to use them no matter what. All right, you're going to lose anyway. No worries. But every time somebody decides not to set them, you can enjoy Grand Arena the way it was meant to be enjoyed all along. And you know what? If you love Datacrons, play with them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play with them if you enjoy them. But for those of you, I see so many people are just like, I literally hate this. Just don't use them.
Would you like to see, and I mean, this is probably a topic I should have covered, but I didn't. Would you like to see a different division for non-Datacron opponents, like competitors?
Dude, it would be awesome if you could say, I'm going to use them or I'm not going to use them.
Even if the rewards are like
they're not going to do that, though, because they are wanting to motivate you to use them by virtue of you can't do well in GAC without using them.
That's easy. You just halve the rewards.
Right.
I mean, just thinking out loud. Not ideal.
I
but
don't. I think that's terrible.
yeah. Well, maybe it is. I'm just throwing an idea out there. I
Not
want
the rewards. You
that's
just
what all this is
lose a
about.
couple rounds. Lose a couple rounds and get filtered into the bracket where people don't use it. I'm telling you, the last round I was in, almost nobody, like basically nobody used Datacrons. Nobody cared to use them.
I like it.
I actually got comments in my stream. People were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so refreshing to watch a GAC without Datacrons."
Yeah, I mean, you can do it either way. I mean, they're a necessary evil. They're not going anywhere. It's as simple as that. So if you can certainly organize a way where you get to the point where you don't want to use them, if you don't want to, that's great. But unfortunately, they're not going anywhere.
Thanks, CG. Wow, Heinzie with the downer to end the video.
Oh, I didn't mean to be a downer, man.
I'm not posting a link to your video. Not posting a link.
Gee, you make that sound like that's the first